What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video, and today we are upgrading the brakes on the Honda. We're doing the front rotors and pads. Pads we have from EBC. We got the yellow stuff brake pads, and then the rotors, which doesn't say on the box, but they are Stoptech slotted rotors for the front. You're gonna of course need your basic tools like ratchets and sockets. Really not too many different ones. We just have to get the caliper off and then replace the two parts, the pads and the rotors. Let's get the car up in the air and then get started. Before we do any of the work, let's check out the performance of the old brakes. Here we are in the car. We're gonna go on this straightaway real quick, and I'm gonna show you guys these stock brakes and what they do. And it's pretty bad, but let's see if we can get a pretty good run at this and see how these brakes do. They're awful. They just cannot resist heat, but let's see here. So we're gonna hit about 80 miles per hour here. All right, here we go. So that was all right, but you could still hear it. Did you hear that?
A little bit.
All right, so we're gonna give it a little bit of room here. I want to warm up the brakes. So that's one. We just stopped, got gas, so we're gonna go ahead and speed up once more. In this test, if you're listening, you can actually hear the brakes when it's braking. Not a squeaking noise or anything like that, but how they are working and the vibration sounds. Also, the GoPro does shake a bit if you're paying attention. The heat soak is horrendous on the stock brakes, and that's why we're doing this brake job today. Alright, now let's get into changing the brakes. And just like everybody else has told you in the past, make sure to always have chucks on the back of the wheels when lifting the front, vice versa, also in the back. My emergency brake is up, and jack stands are on, not just the jack itself. Now let's go ahead and remove the first wheel. So here we have our rotors from Stoptech. As you can see, they are labeled left and right. The actual slots are going to be going opposite of the forward rotation. The instructions do mention that you can actually install them the other way around if that's what you prefer for visual effect, but the right way is to have these facing the opposite of the forward rotation. I already installed stainless steel lines with new fluid. I'm glad to see they are still looking good and holding up. That's good. Now we're going to go ahead and remove the bolts back here and here to get the caliper and the bracket off completely, so that way we can remove the actual rotor. When doing this job, make sure to turn the steering wheel all the way towards you so you have access to the bolts for the calipers that are in the back. You might need a bit of a longer ratchet or breaker bar to help loosen the bolts that are in the back. Once the caliper is removed, make sure to use a bungee cord or a zip tie or anything else that can tie it to the spring to hold up the caliper so it doesn't fall and ruin the lines or anything like that. When taking off the rotor, you might need to remove a screw that is holding it flat to the hub. If this is the case, you might not be able to use just a regular screwdriver. What you will want to do is pick up an impact screwdriver to help remove it. The one I used was a Craftsman, but I have another one linked in the description below. Before putting on the new rotors, make sure to clean them with brake cleaner and clean the hub of any loose debris. You will need to remove the pads and put the caliper with the bracket for the caliper back on. Then you will remove just the caliper from the actual bracket itself. Once that is done, you will push in the piston of the caliper. I do this using a C-clamp, but you can find proper tools for brakes that do this job. Once the new pads are on, make sure to put the pins in that come with it. If you're interested on how that goes on and you didn't get a chance to see how they came off, it's like this. Make sure to lube up anything that needs to be lubed. Your brake instructions should have this information. Once that is done, put the wheel back on and proceed to the next side and repeat the process. And of course, make sure to torque down everything. Once everything is done, make sure to get in the car and pump the brakes until the pedal becomes firm. Now, there is a bed-in process. If you look at the instructions that came with the pads, it says the following. Drive carefully for 50 miles. During this time, allow extra distance for any braking needs until the pads become fully bedded. Then after 200 miles of urban use, find a quiet, safe environment and decelerate from 60 miles per hour to 20 miles per hour at least 5 times. This will finish the bed-in process. Now that the bed-in process is done, let's see how they perform. Here we are back on that same road. The brakes are broken in or bedded in. And now we're gonna go ahead and test them. We're gonna do about the same speed. We're on the same road. We're gonna do about 80, 90 miles per hour here. And then we're gonna brake really hard. We just got off the highway, so there's a little bit of heat in them, but we're about to see. Pointed that way. Let's see if there's shake. All right, here we are. We're at 90 and brake.
Oh, jeez. Christ.
And that wasn't even full brake. That was just that was just braking. We're gonna do it one more time. Now we know that we have even more heat in them. Let's hit back 90. We're at 80, 85, 90. Here we go.
So clean. It's so smooth.
So smooth.
Such a smooth stop.
So smooth. What a huge difference. All right, so there it is. Super excited about the brakes. They work extremely well, and so far 0 heat soak. Was it worth it? Absolutely. I might have not gotten a big brake kit upgrade, but the rotors alone with the pads, and of course the stainless steel lines with the new fluid, which I didn't do a video on, and I didn't get footage on, so I can't do the video, but I'm sure there's plenty out there. Everything works great. I've had 0 issues up to now, and I love it. They stop extremely well, and I've yet to notice any kind of heat soak in them, where compared to the stock ones, they were horrible. Well, that's it, guys. That's the video for the brake upgrade for the front. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next.